We're live.
What's up, everybody? Tom Ferry in the house with Alex running around the camera.
I'm running around.
This is the first time I've done an interview where the interviewer ran around the camera. That was awesome.
I love it, and I'm going to keep it this way.
What would you do right now if I ran around the camera?
I'd be... I guess I don't have a guest. Inquiring minds want to know with Alex.
What's
there
up?
we go. What's up?
All right, cool.
I love it.
I'm feeling in rapport now. Okay, good. What's up, man? How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Or thank you for joining me. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. My name is Alex Vidal. I am president of Related ISG International Realty and host of the show you are watching today, Inquiring Minds Want to Know. And if you don't know who my guest is already, then you must not be in the real estate business, because it is Tom Ferry. He just told me the sixth year in a row,
Yeah.
ranked best real estate trainer in the country. And we have a very long list of questions for him, because I did fly out to California just to spend 30 minutes with Tom. Before I get started though, two things. One, I want to say this is our 35th episode, and I could not think of a better guest than to have one of the best, or the best trainer in the country. And number two, a thank you. I posted recently that last week I was awarded the 2018 Residential Realtor Advocate of the Year Award by the Miami Association of Realtors, which is the largest association of realtors in the country, about 65,000 members, as a result of the show. But it's not because of the show, it's because you guys watch it, like it, love it, most importantly, share it. So if you like today's episode, do the same, please. Like it, love it, share it. But away we go. You ready?
Awesome, man. That was totally great. Congratulations.
Trying, man.
Yeah, no, you're not trying. You're doing. That's all about, that's like the people that are making it happen. We do. We don't try.
That's right.
All
Fair
right.
enough. I'll do that. Tom, the Ferry last name is synonymous
Yes.
with real estate training, coaching, education. I put here arguably number one, but it is number one.
Yes.
But within that,
I'm sure some of my competitors would argue it, but it's okay.
no, they're not like you.
Yeah.
But within that, you have chosen to blaze your own path.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
So some people were raised on milk and cookies. Some people in Southern California were raised on skating and surfing. Sure, I did all that. But when I was like 17, if I go back to the early days when my dad, who was a legend in the space and one of my mentors and heroes, he was out for the last 45 years educating real estate professionals. So I grew up like grabbing audio cassettes that he had sold at a recent seminar, putting them inside the package like what KG does for us. Like he would do that and then ship them out. Like I did that at like 13, 14, wow. 15, 16, right? Like that was my summer job, if you will. I don't think I got paid, by the way. But that's also...
Maybe it's an invoice plus interest.
Yeah, exactly. So fast forward, I go to work for the family business like full time at like 18, 19. And really I think the desire was like, how do I help my dad? Right? Like as I started to understand what it meant, to deliver value and create income, I was looking at his business, at like 18, 19 saying, there's just months where he doesn't get paid and why? And like, why does he have people doing this? And why are there salespeople over here? And just completely fascinated by the business. So I spent, 5 years with my head down, learning everything about it, becoming a salesperson, becoming then a sales manager, then the VP of sales. And I remember just waking up one day when the company now went from a little family business doing, $4 million a year in revenue to, call it north of $40 million in revenue, thinking to myself, I think I may have learned something. Mm-hmm. Right now the question is like in my heart of hearts, what do I really want to do? Right? I was 30 years old and 31 years old, excuse me.
How old are you now?
48.
Okay.
So it was 16 years ago. Whatever that is. And I literally said to myself, what do I want to do? It was starting this new company. Right? Okay. In the beginning, the value prop was, I looked at the competition in the marketplace, and I don't hate on the competition. I love the competition. They make us better, Absolutely. Right? They push us, right? I hope they innovate like crazy and figure out new ways to help people. But I looked and said, they basically fell into a couple different camps. Like these guys were prospectors, and that's what they talked about. These guys were work by referral, and these two hated each other, right? Sure. Like they were just, cold calling is horrible. I know, yeah. Cold calling is horrible, and referrals is the only way, and vice versa, right? And then there was a group in the middle that did some marketing, and the first year, I want to say it was Realtor.com put out the top 100 agents in the country. 16 of those agents were my personal clients, and not one of them fell in any one of those camps. What they all did was just like as any smart investor, they diversified their marketing. Sure. They diversified how they were attracting clients, and I thought, that's it. And we really formed the company with this very lame, unique selling proposition today, but hey, there's no wrong way to do it.
Right.
What's in your DNA? What's in your market? What are your natural skills? What are your best assets? And then let's take the foundation of what it takes to run any successful business and put it on top of that. Right, and that's how we started. So, here we are 16 years later, and it's been a blast.
How many agents do you guys coach within the Tom Ferry organization?
So it's a little north of 7,000 in the
That's
ecosystem. It? Yeah, well,
I'm joking. No, 7,000 is huge.
No, it's not. No, because there's 1.3 million agents, and we have clients all over the world. We have a client in Moscow, Russia. We've got clients in New Zealand, and Australia, and Mexico, and Cancun, all these amazing places all over the world. But coaching isn't for everybody. Right, so I'm not naive enough to think that everybody should hire a coach, because not everybody has ambition and desire, and not everybody else has a growth mindset. And the other thing is too, I've got a bunch, and Buffini's got a bunch, and Ferry's got a bunch, and right. So there's a lot of people out there that are doing it. I'm a flavor. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Some people like vanilla, some people like strawberry. I guess I'd probably be the strawberry. Some people like chocolate. I'm a flavor, so I'm not right for everybody.
It's so funny you say that, because somebody asked me the other day, they're like, dude, you had Severa, you had Douglas Elliman, you had Kai's company, you had all these competitors on your show. Aren't you afraid? I'm like, no, there's 65,000 realtors, different strokes for different folks.
100%. 100%.
So, now, I was surprised by the 7,000 number. I never expected it to be that big.
Yeah.
But you are responsible
I'm
for
actually pissed off that it's that small.
What do you want it to be?
We believe that there's at least 25,000 agents, if I look at just the North American marketplace, not including all of our international partners, that there's 25,000 that either we haven't introduced ourselves to, they haven't been referred to us, we haven't connected them in some way, but we believe that that's very realistic. And, in 2021-ish, as the market begins to adjust, there's a greater awareness for maybe I need a different approach, maybe I need some new ideas. But when the market's flying, and even though some people will say right now on the higher end, it's a little bit slower, no doubt, we're all looking at the same data, the bottom 2/3 of the price points are still on fire. Like it's 2014, right? And NAR is predicting that this year transactionally we're gonna be like 2017. So we're not really in a situation like, say 2008, when my phone was blowing up with Ferry, you know who I am. I was the number 7 agent in the world last year, and I haven't had a closing so far this year, and it's September. Yeah. And those were very real phone calls. I don't wish that on anybody, and it's not how I want to grow my business, but that is a moment that creates awareness.
See, it's interesting, because I want to say what I want to say about coaching in a little bit, because we have a question regarding coaching. Now, you are responsible for coaching and motivating thousands, but it all starts with you. Just like with me, it starts with me.
Sure.
At my company, what systems and habits do you have in place to stay in that positive, motivated mindset?
Yeah, it's interesting. If you ask my wife, she would say, I've been married for 25 years, which is, in Southern California, that's a big deal, because it's 72% divorce rate in my town. So we're outliers. We get a plaque now from the city council. Congratulations.
Keep it city.
Yeah, keep it up, man. You're changing the numbers. At the end of the day, for as long as I can remember, it's about getting up in the morning, exercising in some way, shape, or form, grabbing my wife a Starbucks or a coffee, because that makes her happy, and happy wife is happy life. Right. Getting in, opening up my journal, writing my gratitudes, getting intentional about what I'm going to do that day, what do I need to let go of from the day before, what are the 3-4 outcomes for the day, just doing that every single day. A recent discipline I've taken on is beyond just the gratitudes. As an example, I'd pick up the phone and I'd call my accountability partner. Hey Alex, the 3 things I'm grateful for right now is you coming in from Miami, my team who's filming this, right? And I'm just expressing out loud what I'm grateful for. And the more I do that, the more grateful I feel. And I think it all starts with coming from a place of gratitude. Then when someone hangs up on you, or you get rejected, or something doesn't go your way, you got this basis of my life is okay. Yeah. You with me? Things are good. I like my house, I like my health, I like my wife, life is good. And that knucklehead hung up on me, so who cares, right? But when you don't start with that basis of gratitude or a growth mindset or just something positive every single day, if you don't start with that, then one little thing goes wrong. You've seen this in your office, right? The agent that doesn't do the daily disciplines to build themselves up, right? In a business that if you can't get punched in the face 15 times a day, you're never going to be successful. They get hit once and they're like, oh, Alex, maybe I'm done with the business. Maybe this isn't right for me. And you're like, maybe you should read more. Sure. Maybe you should study more. Maybe you should focus on getting better. So it's probably no different from any other successful person. Everybody's got a morning routine, right? Some it's Howard Stern, some it's constant negative news, some it's Fox, and for others it's, hey, I want to fill my bucket with enough to so I can go give every day.
Listen, if you stopped watching the video right now, just repeat the last 2 minutes of what he just said. And a couple years ago, long story, we kicked off what we call our No Excuses coaching program in our company.
Yeah.
It's an 8-week program. The very first thing we cover is mindset, the gratitude exercises, journaling about one positive experience, etc., exercising. Within 3 weeks' time, you can tell in the class.
There's an energetic shift.
Who's done it and who hasn't done it. So it is absolutely nuts. Now, as coach to some of the country's most successful realtors, you know exactly what it takes to become a successful realtor.
Yes.
What are the common denominators you see among the top producers in the business? Give me 3.
I would say the first thing is that they figured out their unique factors when it comes to their marketing degrees of separation. Like, they've answered the question, like I always say to people, like, so this is the grocery store and this is the potato chip aisle. So how do I find you on that aisle? Right? Like, why should I select? Are you the yellow one, the black one, the blue one? Are you the one with spice, the one with non-spice? And the problem is that anyone watching this knows that in the real estate world today, when there's $100 billion in commissions at stake, and there is more models today than there has ever been, and I've been in this space for 30 years. There's more models, DIY, we buy ugly houses, iBuyer, hybrid, full discount, traditional, right? You got in the range of $16 billion being spent every single year to basically get your customer base to go to their website, call their number, do something with them so they can either arb them and sell that lead to somebody else or provide the service for them at a discount or whatever. There's been more competition than I've ever seen in my life. And the first thing that makes the best agents stand out is they actually battle against it. Like, they create their own unique factors. And whether it's a ridiculous offer that nobody else can, or they play on their stats, we pay you to sell your house. And the consumer's like, what do you mean, like, with that headline? Well, it's because we've been selling houses for 6% more than asking price or above list price, right? So we're actually paying you 6% just by choosing us. So this is like, I live in that world every day. Like, really, if you ask me, like, what do I love? It's I get to synthesize and then codify all the best agents in the country, what works, what doesn't, and then put it into these packages. And I don't mean like package itself, like package of like geo-farming, package of past client sphere, package of online lead generation, package of follow-up, and then share it with all my clients, right? So that's the very first thing. The second thing is, without a shadow of a doubt, what makes the very best people like extraordinarily great, and I don't care what country they're from. I mean, I have clients in like, Yugoslavia, or like Czech Republic, New Zealand, like, and they all have a discipline around follow-up. Like, it is their secret sauce. It's their superpower, right? So anybody can buy leads and anybody can generate leads, right? Like, I mean, stand with a sign that says, we'll work for listings, right? Someone's gonna go, hey man, what's that mean, right? So that's the easy part, but all of the money is in follow-up. So whether it's digital, whether it's video, whether it's phone call, whether it's text, that discipline is what makes their business sing. Now, if we lined up 100 of the best agents in the country and said, how's your follow-up? What also makes them great is they're all gonna say, it sucks, I'm horrible, I don't do a good enough job. What did you make last year? $4.5 million, right? Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. But that is also like a little B minus, is the very best people have this unfortunate curse that says dissatisfaction is a symptom of ambition.
Yeah.
You with me? I'm so freaking ambitious, I'm dissatisfied all the time. So degree of separation, follow up, and then the last one is they understand that at the end of the day, a system will produce what a system will produce, nothing more, nothing less. So everything in your business that is not a system, right, doesn't work. And every system you have in your business, if it's not an Amazon-esque experience, grab my phone, buy Alex's new book, boom, I want it in 2 hours, Prime, or I want it like,
instant
the next day, you with me, like, boom. If it's not like this, then it doesn't work, right? So in business, you're either adding to your business to grow, and all of them understand this. I'm gonna add a sales agent, I'm gonna add another lead source, I'm gonna add another piece of software, or I'm gonna add solutions that make the process of buying and selling with me, like every escrow we do, right? Like, like every one of them, there is fiery pain points for both the agent, the consumer, the other agent, the lender, right? So everybody's dealing with this, but nobody solved it. So I have clients that have literally, they market that. They say, buying a home isn't easy. Finding a home on Zillow is easy. Yeah. Buying a home, on the other hand, and then they actually show the pain points as a marketing degree of separation and how they solved it. Kind of anal, but it's working. So they do a better job with systems. So it's either adding or they solve the fundamental problems, right? They're always working on how do I streamline and make this as efficient as possible, right? Not just because I want greater efficiency, I want to be able to sleep better at night, which is certainly great.
We never sleep.
But the end result for the consumer, right? Like at the end of the day, we're only as good as the last 90 days of reviews we have in our business. If you actually look at the science of reviews, after 90 days, consumers think, oh, that's probably a bunch of BS. So if you don't have fresh new reviews all the time, so you create better systems and process. It's Edward Deming Jr., right? It was the godfather of manufacturing who we sent as a country to Japan post-World War II after we blew everything up. And we said, here's our gift. This guy will help you rebuild all of your manufacturing processes. And he did. His basic premise was a system will produce what a system will produce. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you're not generating enough business, it's your system. You with me? If you're not converting enough of your listings, it's your system. If you're not selling all of your listings, it's your system. If you're not getting reviews from all of your customers, it's your system. So the very best people have figured that out, and they've created those systems, and then obviously the people, in many cases, that execute on it.
And I'm assuming that even the top people, when they have the systems in place, they're always working on refining it and making it better.
So there's a truth in business. So I've invested in a lot of companies and I advise for a lot of companies. I coach many CEOs, some of the biggest ones in the country in the real estate space. And then having started 17 companies of my own, there is no question. If you don't reinvent yourself every 18 months, you become obsolete as a human being on this planet of service to others, doing what you do. And if you don't reinvent your entire business every 3 years, you're done. You're done. And most people don't even know that to be true. But I can tell you, living in it every single day, you are, again, not to be like a quotaholic, and I'm now Drucker. Drucker said basically, all business is marketing and innovation. Mm-hmm. All business is marketing. So the second you stop marketing, you're out of business. And the second you stop innovating to improve the quality of my system, to improve my degree of separation, to improve my follow-up, to improve my marketing, the second you stop doing it, somebody comes in and pulverizes you, right? Like I talk to all these big CEOs of companies, I'm like, don't blame the new startup companies that are taking all your best agents away. Look in the fucking mirror and say, maybe we should innovate. Maybe we should get a better story. Maybe we should have done this. It was on our plan 18 months ago and we never executed. Right? Like, that's what it's all about.
And I think that boils down to people. It's interesting because Patrick Bet-David, we were talking about it earlier, he posted a photo of a guy and it was like his head was open and it showed a price tag coming out of his brain and it said 0. And then it showed his sport coat and it showed, $400.
I saw it.
Whatever.
I saw it. It was classic.
And I showed it to my wife and I said, look, and it's so true. Everybody's so focused on how they're dressed and how their hair looks and what they're wearing and all that jazz. I mean, I bought this jacket for $50 at Home Goods. I was just selling the jacket. It's awesome. I don't care.
Yeah.
But and we're going to talk about coaching in a minute, but I'm making a major investment in my brain. And I think that's where
1,000%.
people are lacking. They're lacking in investing on getting better.
And here's the thing. Investing is not just money. Also, it's time, right? So I talk to a lot of new agents, and I talk to, one of my personal clients is 45 years in the business. She does like $3.5 million in commissions. She's 80 years old, right? 17% market share in her area. I mean, like, she's unbelievable. But she says, look, I invest time every day. I'm on YouTube. I'm listening to an audiobook. So sometimes just the time, because YouTube's free.
I spend on average over 2 hours a day in my car.
Yeah.
So all I listen to now are podcasts, YouTube videos, and that's it. No more music, because that music, maybe when I need to just disconnect for a few minutes, but I'm trying to just get better every day.
Smart.
Now, in Miami and in Fort Lauderdale alone, there are 65,000 realtors. Yeah. And I've always said that our customers have a choice with whom they want to work with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are your
consumers?
Consumers. Yeah, meaning it's buyers and sellers. With 65,000 realtors, they have a choice. What are some ways that, let me see where I'm at, what are your top ways for a realtor to demonstrate value to their clients? And this question is courtesy of George Guerra from Real Estate Salesforce.
Nice. Top ways. So we actually do some research on this, and it's about to be done. So I'm talking about 2018,
sure, go for
which
it.
That kind of drives me nuts. But I'll give you just a few things to consider. You ready? So like I mentioned earlier, the potato chip aisle, the vast majority of you, first of all, you're probably not even at eye level. You're down here. If you're even in the grocery store where they're shopping.
Can I pause you for 1 second on that? Do you know that a study recently came out that actually the premium space in the grocery aisle now is down at the bottom?
Interesting.
Because,
when did that come out?
Last year.
Okay.
And it's because people are looking at their phones when they're grocery shopping. So you no longer are...
You need to find me that research piece.
Look it up. So it's
that.
no longer at eye level.
Yeah.
It's actually lower because people are on their phones looking.
It's like why billboards don't work, because
Yeah.
people are driving and looking at our
Correct.
phone.
So the premium space now is down here. Just like
That's hysterical.
If I find it, I'll send it.
Okay, yeah, please, I would love that. So, but metaphorically, you get what I'm saying.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I love it. No, you better send me the piece there,
Yeah.
because I like that kind of data. So how do we stand out? Ready? So there's a couple different ways you can stand out. First, you can make an offer, a claim, a guarantee, and a promise that nobody else is willing to make.
Offer, claim, guarantee, promise.
Right? But that no one else is willing to make. So if you look at just the last 45 years, the only people that have really done that are discounters. We Buy Ugly Homes is an example of that. Some of the iBuyers, you're seeing more and more of that. If we don't sell it, we'll buy it,
Sure.
right? That's an example of it. But there's some micro versions of that you can do, right? Maybe what you do is you stack the cool in marketing, which is like, but wait, there's more. If you act now, you get this and this and this and this and this. That's called stacking the cool in marketing. If every agent in your town is offering the same service for the same fee, right? What else could you offer that is a pain point for the customer? You with me? So moving sucks, right? So I just built a house. It took me 4 years, and bad builder, not just because we're knuckleheads, but whatever. The experience was great, and my wife and I are even better, which is a miracle, right? But we moved 4 times before we then moved into our house, right? So moving sucks.
Yeah.
So what if you actually said, look, anybody can list your house. Anybody can put it inside the MLS. Anybody can do this. But in addition, we will do this for you. We will hire somebody to come sort, organize, pack, throw out, donate, and that's just a part of our fee now. Now, maybe you charge more for that. The point is, and you don't have to do that. The point is, what else can you do above and beyond that nobody else is offering? I can remember back in the mid-90s, right, when the market started to improve, 96, 97, 98, when all of a sudden the degree of separation was, I have a stager and the other agent doesn't. And now we know the stats around staging a property versus not staging a property. And today, that once great degree of separation is pretty neutralized across the country because of the low-cost providers, and it's so out there. I would challenge you to say, what's the next thing like that? What's the next thing that you can do? Make sense?
Sure.
So that would be one. Another easy one is to do exactly what you're doing. So I'll give you a little backstory.
In fact, this is why we connected, by the way, because you had a clip about video.
Yes, right? So get this. In 2000 and I want to say 2007 or 8. Maybe it was 2008. I'm on the golf course with a buddy of mine, just warming up, hanging out, whatever, on a Saturday, and he says, hey, Tom, like, my buddy's going to join us. So I was like, oh, great. Like, who's your buddy? He's like, oh, his name is David. I'm like, oh, what's David do? He's like, he works for Google. I was like, oh, big company, New York, LA, where is he? And he's like, oh, he's in New York City. I'm like, oh, okay. The guy walks up. I'm like, hey, David, Tom, very nice to meet you. I'm like, what do you do at Google? And he said, well, I kind of work on the media and content side. I was like, okay, cool. Why don't you ride with me? Right?
Smart.
Totally blow my buddy off, right?
Good.
Like, I'm like, do you need a massage? Do you want a glass of water? Like,
I'll buy you a beer.
because
Come
basically,
on.
like,
Spill the beans.
I played the worst round of golf I could possibly play, right? Only because I wanted as much time with this guy as possible. Now, we're driving in the cart, and the first thing I say is, hey man, like, so I'm blogging. And I said, but I'm specifically doing audio podcasts. And he said, hey, blogging is good. We had just bought Blogger, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, podcasts are stupid. Now, remember, this is 2008, right? A lot has changed. Clearly, you, me, and so many millions of others. But back then, he said, podcasting is stupid. I was about to do a deal with RIM BlackBerry for exclusive content on the BlackBerry for real estate agents.
Does BlackBerry even exist?
Thank you very much. So thank you, David. I canceled that deal before it even started. And he said to me, look, we just bought this company called YouTube. And he said, I'm going to strongly recommend that you start doing videos. So I was very lucky to get that insight. More importantly, I'm now 1,000 videos plus on my YouTube channel. And that was the second channel, which launched in 2009. Right? So we've got 240,000 subscribers, and we're creating content all the time, just as you're doing here. And what happens is, like, the agent that's going to play the long game, that really truly wants to stand out, what should they be doing? Exactly what you're doing. But I would do it in a totally consumer-centric way, right? And a lot of agents are doing this, but we say a lot. The numbers show less than 2% of agents in the country are creating video content on a regular basis. And most of them don't have the wherewithal, the long run, I'm going to be the tortoise, not the hare, to do it for 5, 6, 7 years.
Correct.
Because when you do it for 5, 6, 7 years, where for 5, 6, 7 years, I can go ahead and watch from 2019, your first hey, I want to give you the Miami-Dade market update. Here's what's going on with condos. Prices are now selling at this square footage. And like, you read it like a news report. My client, Josh Rubin in New York City, follow him on Instagram. That's all he does, right? He just says, this is what's happening right now in my part of New York City. Sure. Prices are this. Here's the 3 highest price transactions in the last week. And what he's doing is he's feeding the news to his base, right? So whether it's the news, the market updates, or it's showing you around town, whatever you're doing, this is where you have to be. If you are not here, you are nowhere, right? And the single greatest medium is going to be video, because from my video, I can then transcribe that into a text blog. I can strip the audio away, put it into a podcast. I can take from this video 3 or 4 30-second, 40-second clips.
I'll be doing that later.
Instagram, right? Like that's the model. I mean, I'm looking at a couple of my team members. We've been doing that now for as long as I can remember. And what happens is consumers start to say this, Alex, I see you everywhere. Like my wife, she loves it and she hates it because everywhere we go now, someone's like, oh my God, you're Tom Ferry. Oh, hey, let's do a selfie, right? And I'm like, I didn't set out the intention to do that, but that's the natural byproduct of bringing people value and doing it consistently for a decade plus. So there's 2 big ideas you might want to play with.
We're actually going to be putting a recording studio. We just moved one of our offices, our corporate office. We're going to be putting a recording studio. Exactly that. Get our realtors in front of the camera, have a huge TV, a green wall, whatever, and talk 5 minutes. Hey, this is what happened in your community this month. That's it. Geo-target it.
Put a teleprompter in front of them. Put in the script so they can just go, hi, my name is, because otherwise most people won't do it. People are definitely afraid of video.
They are. I was too. Do you know, I still, 35th episode, right? And I've gone to New York twice, Dallas, this is my second trip to LA, whatever. I still walk into offices like this and I still get nervous.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of uncomfortable. You're walking, it's not like somebody coming to me. I'm going to their office, I'm going into their world. And then the camera starts and then I go. But in the beginning I was terrified.
For sure.
And I'm not fearful. I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, but if you don't have a little nervousness, I would say that you're not really in it. Like you're numb. Like I get on stage still and I've done 5,000 talks, right? And I still before I go on stage, I'm like, okay, all right, man, what am I committed to? How am I going to serve? What am I, I get into this sort of questioning to get me out of the nervousness and focus it. Some people actually call it's not stress, it's eustress. It's positive stress.
Okay.
I want to deliver, right? You want to do great with this. You want to help people inside your community. So it's like, okay, this matters to me, right? Yeah. And that actually creates some anxiety and stress as well. But it's eustress. It's positive stress.
I stress, good and bad. Yeah. It comes in every shape and form. All right. I get asked a lot about teams. Are they worth it? Should I build a team, etc.? Those are the types of questions I get. What advice can you give your agents looking to go from being a solo agent to having a team?
So the first thing I would tell you, and there's a lot of data on this, and we've had a group of clients we work with that are called Team Plus. They do $3 million a year in GCI. They've got 13, 14 people on their team, and they're in every major metro, Canada, US, etc. And look, the mistakes are plentiful. The thing I would say to you first and foremost is, what are your natural assets? What are you good at, right? Are you a good face of the business, or are you good at the back end? If you're good at the back end, find a face. If you're really good with customers, you need to find a back end, because the face, the person who's really great with people, but not super organized, but in the moment they're awesome, and they make a lot of promises, and they don't write anything down, and then they don't follow up on it, and then the whole world falls apart. That person needs the yin to their yang, right? So even before you think team, I would challenge you to say, what are my options to have the back end be more organized? What we know is when an agent hires an assistant, they double their business the first year. It's automatic. Wow. And what happens is half of it is fear and obligation. Oh my God, I got to write him a check. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got to pay for this. Absolutely. But the math is so positive that when they go from 10 or 15 transactions to 25 or 30 transactions, it more than pays for itself, plus, right? I mean, it's a huge home run. So that would be the first thing I would say. Okay. Once you have that, then it's like, okay, now how much reach do I want to have? Do I have a demand gen issue that I need to solve? So before you go hire salespeople, how am I going to get more leads, right? Like the sales acceleration formula requires, a steady flow of leads coming in, opportunities, prospects, etc., from a wide variety of sources, but 2 or 3 that are dominant that, at a low cost, I can constantly fill the funnel, right? And help buyers and sellers and renters, right? I got to solve that before I hire salespeople. Because if I bring in salespeople and I'm not disciplined with my own marketing, my own calling, right? Then it's a cluster. Can I curse?
You can say clusterfuck.
I mean, it's a horrible, right? So the great teams, you get the back end solved first. The agent really accelerates their growth. Then they say, now let me hire, or let me figure out how am I going to arbitrage leads? How am I going to get more consistent flow? How are we going to do it here? What's going to be our process? Remember the old Montel song? This is how we do it. That's a mantra that I sing to all my
clients. Have you ever sang on camera before?
Many times. No? First time?
First time ever on camera?
This is how we do. All right, so yeah. Right. So here's the thing.
People just stop watching now.
Yeah. For sure. But here's the thing, like that song, even though it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, I say, look, you have to decide this is how we do it here. So when I hire salespeople, I say, Alex, this is how we do it here at the Ferry team. We all show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. We role play for 25 or 30 minutes to practice what to say and what to do to bring value to our clients to win and convert. Then we all get on the phone for 2 hours and we call our hottest leads, then we call our database, and then we call and Then your afternoon should be booked with showings and appointments, etc. But the morning we all control. And by the way, the teams that do that kill it. 300, 400, 500, 1,000, 1,300 transactions.
It goes back to your systems.
Right? It's a system, right? A system will produce what a system will produce. If I've got 7 people on the phone calling their database, calling their best leads, following up, knowing what to say and converting, we're going to have a ton of appointments. If we have a ton of appointments, we're going to help a bunch of buyers and sellers. But if you walk in and say, look, I got all these salespeople, and Alex is super fun, and he's great, and Jillian knows a ton of people, and Rich is new and he's hungry, well, all that sounds good, but it's a bunch of shit, right? So none of them produce. Alex knows a ton of people, but he doesn't know what to say, doesn't know what to do, doesn't know how to introduce it, doesn't understand degrees of separation, doesn't understand that every person he knows 5 agents. Okay. You with me? So how are you going to do it? Decide that before you bring in salespeople.
Got it.
You with me? Decide on your model. You do those 3 things, you're going to crush it.
I love that. And I'm going to leave it there. I agree with you.
I mean, we can do 10 days on Teams, so.
We could. Now, and we have a few more questions. I don't even know how long we're running. But branding in our business has become more important than ever before. What are some tips that you give your coaching clients on how to build a great brand?
It's funny. I actually just had a meeting with a client from New York City and from Long Beach, California on this yesterday. So look, the obvious things like, what's going to be your mark? What's going to be your colors? What are your brand guidelines? Like that kind of stuff. We always have the font size this way. The company logo looks like this. Our photo looks like that. The photo should look like you. Heads up.
Yes.
It's weird.
Not 20 years ago.
It's so
Miami,
weird.
especially in South Beach. Forget about it.
No, everywhere. Because you're like, wow, that's a really handsome guy, or that's a really beautiful gal. Then they show up and you're like, is your daughter coming? It's just, what happens is you break trust instantaneously. See, they think it's a good idea because, well, that's just a really good photo of me and I really like how it looks and I hate how I've aged, right? Well, the problem is you're freaking lying to the customer out of the gate. And then they show up and they see you and I say, well, this person's a liar. What else do they lie about, right? It's incomprehensible to me that any person would ever do that, right? So that's number one. Brand guidelines, get all that stuff right. Then you have to say to yourself, where are my customers and how am I going to reach them? And it really goes back to the same thing. Today it's video, social, it's Instagram. So this client I was with yesterday, she did a little over $3 million in commissions last year. It's good, it's good business. She's got a small team, right? And she coaches for us also. So she's really she's in it and she's giving back. And she said to me, I've been listening to you. I've known her for 20 years. She goes, but I really listen the last 3 or 4 years, and I watch what you do. And she's like, you're so on it with Instagram right now. She said, and it's been oh yeah, well, my team has one, so I've got a corporate identity, if you will, but nothing personal. She's like, and then I walked into a listing appointment for $2 million, and the person said, how are you going to market this on Instagram? And she was like, well, actually, my team, and she went right into her corporate stuff, but she's like, that was it. Instagram today, in my opinion, is one of the easiest ways for you to go brand yourself. Okay. Because it's voyeuristic.
We already know what the answer is going to be to one of the ones.
Yeah. Well, and look, I'm a fan of all the social channels, but Instagram right now just has so much eyeball traffic that if you post it 5:30 in the morning and again at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's the time when you have to do it, right, Jillian?
What time? What are the times?
5:30 a.m. and 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And if you do anything late in the afternoon, unless you have a giant base, look at the math, right? You're getting 1 to 3, sometimes 4% of your total people actually see it in the news feed. So the earlier you start, the more you're going to get them.
So let's stay on Instagram for a minute. Yeah. Do you tell your realtors to have a team page or a personal page? Or for brokers to have a company page or an individual page?
You can have as many pages as you want, but the question is, where are you going to be the most? So what I believe and what I tell my clients is, look, like I am Tom Ferry, the human being. So you're going to see, by the way, like photos of my wife and I. What happens, Jillian? Like 7 million likes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, right? That's my kids,
more than the professional.
Human life, just out and about, right? And then, something that is bringing value, like a video, is going to get 7, 8, 1,000, maybe 10,000 views, right? So if I'm giving value, it's going to happen. Photos and quote cards, they produce a certain result, right? What I know, though, is at the end of the day, I am the personality, but I also have like 340 people that work inside the company, right? Coaches and salespeople and executives and like everybody, right? So I tell my top agents, your personal page, quote unquote, should be your blend of your life, which is you sell real estate and you're a soccer mom and you got 3 kids and you go on dates and you dance and you, right? Put it all inside there and then allow people to see the blended experience of your life.
So would you sum it up to say, when going back to the brand for a minute, the brand shouldn't be necessarily entirely just about real estate. The brand should be your life resume. That seems to be a popular term nowadays, life resume.
Yeah,
right?
100%. And the flip side of it is, most of us don't have, and a lot of the people we talk to don't have the budget or the time to build 2 separate identities on the same platform, right? I mean, you just look back at what you did with your business page and your personal profile on Facebook. Like, that disaster is a really good example, right? So it doesn't matter which one you pick one and go all in.
And I found among the 35 people, some of these guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, even billions of dollars that I've interviewed over the 35. They've all said people follow people. People don't follow companies. So let's talk about.
Well, there is, with some caveats, people follow Tesla, people follow Nike, you know what I mean? So there are some brands but they have so much swag, and that's my point. Do you have the money and the time to build up a Tesla brand, a Nike brand, right? But we follow Bill Gates. I don't really care about Microsoft, right? Yeah. So that kind of stuff happens. So just my 2 cents.
Now, one of the common denominators I have found over the course of my interviews among these super successful people, whether it's
I'm sorry for bringing down the standard, man.
No, dude, are you kidding me? I love this. This has been one of my favorite ones. Is they all have coaches.
You can't say that every time on a podcast. We'll all know.
That's true. That is true. No, but this has been one of my favorite. But they all have coaches who help them in their business. Yeah. It's funny because I actually right now have just I was talking to my buddy about it. I have 3 people on my payroll right now.
Yeah.
Me personally.
Yeah.
I have certain goals I want to accomplish in 2019. Yeah. And one is I hired a nutritionist. I'm running down 6 pounds, right? I go back to, I have a therapist, Jack, who's the most amazing guy ever.
Yes.
I need to check in with somebody every now and then, get my mind right. Yes. And there was via an interview, a guy named Brad Lee. He's the CEO of Lightspeed Virtual Training. Yeah. Guy's phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. I hired him as a business coach. Yeah. I wanted somebody outside of real estate, but I'm investing, and I'll tell you what it is, okay? And I'm very open about this. So when 2017 turned into 2018, we spent New Year's in North Carolina. Yeah. And with my buddy, I sat down with him over some drinks, and I said, here's what I want to do in 2018. I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and this. Okay? Yeah. Fast forward a year, 2018 turning into 2019. We go back to North Carolina. We've done it 6 years in a row. He wasn't there because he had moved, but on our way down from North Carolina, we stopped in Melbourne to visit with him, okay? Year later, just happened to be the new year.
Like one of my closest friends on the planet lives in Melbourne, Florida.
Oh my God, Melbourne's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I see why he moved there.
Have you been to the hot dog and a stick?
We were there for 6 hours. A night, and then the next day at the beach, and we left. Yeah.
But I don't eat hot dogs, but like the most famous hot dog place on the planet is
oh my God,
my buddy Sheila and your husband Alex.
Jessica and Arlo, right? Yeah. They're very close friends of ours, and it was Arlo. And I remember driving to from North Carolina to Melbourne, and like halfway through the drive, I turned to my wife and I said, "Oh my God," I'm being very vulnerable right now. I said, "Oh my God, I'm having an anxiety attack." And she goes to me, "What?" I'm like, "I'm having an anxiety attack." Like internally, not like I was flipping out. She goes, "What do you mean?" I go, I'm gonna go and have the same exact conversation with Arlo over some drinks that I had a year ago. You know who that's on? That's on me. And I said to her, I go, "That's it. I'm not doing that again." If from 2019 to 2020, I'm in the same position, it's not going to be because I didn't try to make it happen. Yeah. And I said, I want to hire Brad. I want to,
Systems will produce what a system and a coach provides. The nutritionist provides a platform. Like, here's the food I want you to eat. This is what I want. Same exact thing.
So I'm really excited. I'm about to start with
you.
Brad. So tell us why realtors, and I know the answer to this,
Yeah.
okay? Why should realtors have a coach in their business?
So-
Whether it's Tom Ferry, Buffini, whomever.
Yeah. So again, not everybody should. Let's do a be honest in the industry. There's
Okay, go for
there's
it.
1.3 million agents.
Okay.
Some studies show that half of them have not sold a house, right? So they have a realtor license, but maybe they work in the association. They're part of the MLS. They're just a random person. Maybe they're an assistant, right? That's not random, but so half of them didn't sell a house. Then when you say, okay, well now there's like 600,000 or 650,000. You only have 43,000 that did more than 25 transactions, right? Per
How many?
CoreLogic, right, says only 43,000 agents, 3% of the total base, sold more than 25 houses last year.
Wow.
Right? You look at America's Best or the Wall Street Journal Top 1,000, which I'm proudly a part of now, the America's Best list. To get on that list, you have to be doing 50 transactions or more, right? Authenticated by your brokerage, your MLS, etc., and or do $20 million in sales volume. And that list is only 15,000.
Out of 1.2 million.
Right, 1.3 million.
1.3.
Right, so I'm very mindful of like, not everybody needs a coach, right? Who probably needs a coach is the person who is, and again, myself, any flavor will technically do. I'd rather have someone than no one.
I agree.
You with me? Like, that's my belief. The people that are gonna hire a coach are the ones that recognize, okay, I'm in a fixed mindset. I've done it my way as long as I can do it, and my way only got me so far. Now I need something new. So is that a coach? Is it a consultant? Is it a seminar? Is it a book? Is it something? All those other ones outside of a coach, what they do is they provide information. Coaching isn't more information. Coaching is the co-creation of what is your wildly important goal? Then let's reverse engineer the key indicators, like what's the leading and lagging things you have to do every single day, every single week, every single month, so the numbers of the business are very clear, and we're gonna hold you accountable to that. The third part is you need a cadence of accountability, right? The last part is you need a scoreboard. We need to track and measure visually to know exactly what's going on. Coaching is more about math than it is how do you feel.
Yeah.
You with me?
I agree.
Now I might ask a client, hey, how you feeling? What's going on? What's your tempo of the market, right? But at the end of the day, like the person I just signed up with, Jill Biggs, who did like 300 transactions last year in Hoboken, New Jersey, the first thing we go into is, look, you're personally on the line for this many transactions. Maxine Gellens, my client in La Jolla, who's 80, I'm like, okay, we're at 3 transactions of the 50 you're gonna do, of the 125 that your team's gonna do. Like, that side, that's coaching. Now, the hard part is, not a lot of people really want accountability.
Yeah.
You with me? Like, think about how most people got into real estate. It's potentially a second, third, fourth, fifth career.
Sure.
Potentially, right? Some people are coming in, straight out of high school and college, that's cool. But they're coming in like, screw the man, no one's gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna go do my own thing. I finally got freedom to do whatever the hell I want. And they die a slow and painful death. Right? You have kids?
Yeah, 4. I have a 21-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 9-year-old twin.
Okay,
Just turned 9.
try raising kids without accountability. Hey, Dad, what's my curfew? No curfew. Do whatever you want. What shall I do at school? I don't care. Just do your thing. You're an independent contractor. I wish you the best. Right? My kids would die. Right? They're young human beings. They don't know any better. Right? A business person, in a similar respect, needs some barriers. Like, don't let this stuff, this noise, get in your way. Your plan is to help this many people execute on these things, and when you do that, you get this pot of gold at the end, and if you get distracted by all this stuff, you lose, right? And if you look at our industry, it's so freaking noisy. Then if you look at the US, it's really noisy. And the average human being watching this right now has the attention span of less than a goldfish, 7 or 8%. So they've already faded in and out 43 times since the thing started.
Right.
So a coach helps. You with me?
Hey, listen, I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
For sure.
I hear it. All right, we've gone way over, but I want to get through these questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip one. We're going to go to the lightning round.
Yeah.
1-word answers, 2-word answers, right?
Cool.
Best ROI. How long are we going, by the way? Do we know?
It's been about
45.
45.
This is my, man, we're going.
Okay,
This is the longest one I've had.
Okay, cool. I hope you got some value out of this. If you do, follow me on Instagram at Tom Ferry.
You should absolutely follow him on Instagram. Best ROI for leads for realtors. 1-word answer.
Short term or long term? Which one do you want?
Take one of each.
Okay, short term, I would say is so outside of the obvious, your sphere, right? Sphere would be first, expireds would be second,
Got it.
right? Long term would be play the long game with Facebook ads and generate 6, 7, 8,000 people in your database that you can nurture, and over the next 3 to 5 years, your business will absolutely boom.
All right. Number 2, if you only had one way to prospect, what would it be?
If I only had one way to prospect, what would it be? I think it would just be Facebook Live.
Facebook Live. Favorites, but you said you've never done a Facebook Live.
No, I do Facebook Live.
Oh, you mean where you've been interviewed? Got it.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, it's Tom.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then I would boost that to all the prospects that I wanted to see it. You with me?
Favorite social media platform, Instagram, or is it Facebook?
Faxing. I don't care. Just whatever one is hot, that's where I pay attention. And I cover all of them, but I focus on whichever one is hot.
Okay. What keeps you up at night?
Nothing.
A fear. Nothing. Okay. One daily. I love this question, by the way. One daily practice every agent should be doing to change your business for the better.
Only 554. Right?
What's that?
Contact 5 people inside your sphere in your database every single day. Nurture, love on them. Ask them questions. How you doing? Have any thoughts of selling? Every now and then, if you oversell, and you're known as that. So it's just nurturing 5 every single day out of your database. 5 new people every single day, because there's people that you know, and then there's the giant group of people that you don't know. So you got to chip into this and get them into this bucket or entirely off your list. And then 4 follow-up calls every single day. 554.
I
right?
love that.
You do that, you kill it.
I'm going to steal that, by the way.
Good.
All right. What is the most consistent thing you do?
Breathe.
I wasn't
I hope. Right?
I know, no shit, right? Yeah. Something would be surprised to know about.
I feel like this is like that game show, right? Like, what's the strangest place you've made love, Bob? Like, and if you know the answer, right? What was the question?
That's awesome. Something we'd be surprised to know about you.
That I'm actually super introverted.
Interesting. So am I, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. Yeah. Because I'm the same way. What's your favorite reel? This is the one that I told you I added because another one from George Guerra. What's your favorite realtor doing in the country? What your favorite realtor in the country doing right now?
I don't have a favorite. I have a huge capacity for love, so I have so many clients. My hope is that right now they are on a listing appointment, showing the degrees of separation, and getting the contract signed. And I hope all 7,000 are doing that repeatedly throughout today.
Awesome. Last question, and then we're done. Book, podcast, or TED Talk, or all 3 recommendation for our audience.
We need to update my book list because it's a little stale because I've gone through so many.
We have a few people behind the camera, by the way.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I just downloaded. So first of all, I just went back through Never Split the Difference. So notice, by the way, when you look at somebody's home screen on their phone, it tells you what matters to them. And notice my books is not hidden away someplace. It's right there next to all the social stuff.
We can't pull up my phone because it's filming, but I learned from one of the top guys in the country. My goals are on my phone. The average person looks at their phone, I think, over 100 times a day.
Oh, way more than that. Yeah,
So, and I used to have a photo of my wife and I, and it was funny because my wife was like, "Hey, where's my photo?" I'm like, "Babe, you know I love you." I go, every time I go into my phone, I want to see my goals because it's almost like a self-accountability.
1,000%.
Okay.
So, Never Split the Difference, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck, which is the most extraordinary book on the planet. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Ego is the Enemy is on my list. That's my wife. Tribes, that I was just going back through with Seth Godin. Sales Acceleration Formula would just be a few. Like, I ingest, like some people, like, I don't know, they eat. Like, I eat content. Okay. You with me? All day, every day, nonstop. That's a weird metaphor. I don't know about the food.
No, I got it.
But you with me on this? Like, I'm constantly consuming, and I have this really strange, unique gift that I can hear 1,000 data points and find the 3 that would help my client in the moment win, and that's what I focus on.
That's it. Tom.
Thanks, man.
Woo!
Appreciate it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, super great.
That was great.
Thanks. Is this on Facebook or is it Instagram?
It's on Facebook Live. I'm going to dice it up, put it on Instagram while I'm on my flight back to California. Or back to Miami on the ride. Yeah. Any parting words while I go around?
Yeah, just want to say to everybody, wishing you 2019 health and vitality, love and gratitude with the people that matter most to you, and obviously a lot of success in business. Consumers need you right now. They're really confused.
Thanks, man.